Why don't you just commit to one and choose to be faithful to her?
I'm just not wired that way. I spent my whole 20s trying to fix myself. It's not how I am.
You think that might be a limited mindset?
I think it's none of your business, but I don't want you to think I'm triggered by you. I'm not.
A few years back, Justin Waller suddenly popped off all over the internet as this so-called alpha male figure. And yeah, most people only remember the awkward secondhand embarrassment clips. But there was more going on behind the scenes. Waller wasn't just another loud voice online. He was closely tied into Andrew Tate's circle. And that connection makes his whole story way more bizarre than people first thought.
I love women. And in fact, I have quite the reputation for loving them a bit too.
Yeah.
And my wife helps, by the way. But the point I'm trying...
Wait, your wife helps the hypergamy? No,
I got girlfriends, G.
Really?
Yeah, man. I live the dream, bro. I live the dream.
Before getting into that strange side, it helps to see how Waller even got attention in the first place. He kept pushing this image that nothing could get under his skin, like he was completely unbothered at all times, but every appearance kind of said the opposite. He even showed up on political podcasts trying to sound sharp, but those moments mostly turned into uncomfortable clips that people couldn't stop sharing. One thing that really made him stand out from the rest of the alpha crowd? The guy was always wearing insanely tight pants, like distractingly tight.
Why don't you just get wider pants?
Yeah, custom made.
Bro, I've tried. People hate on me so hard for that shit, bro. Fuck them. I got a world-class ass.
It's tight.
Yeah.
It's a little tight.
You can give a fuck, man. Fuck you. I truly don't.
It became part of his whole image whether he meant it or not, and people online definitely noticed. But here's the twist. Those viral moments weren't even the main reason he blew up. His rise was heavily tied to who he was around. When Andrew Tate took over the internet in 2022, Waller was right there beside him, gaining attention from that wave. And when the Tate brothers got arrested over serious allegations, Waller didn't step back. Instead, he doubled down and made it clear he was sticking by them no matter what.
Again, a man, very controversial, friend with Andrew Tate.
Yeah, not stopping, not backing down from it either.
Do you think Andrew Tate's being set up by the Matrix?
Well, first of all, I think he's completely innocent, and very clearly, like, what he's getting charged of is absolutely erroneous in every way. Like, on what planet does a 6'3" millionaire, handsome son of a bitch, well-spoken, driving and traveling the world, dude, like Andrew and T are James Bond in real life. They don't need to be doing that with women.
His loyalty went so far that he even named his own daughter after Andrew Tate, which made people pause and look twice at how deep this connection really went.
I don't know if I've said this on the internet yet, but
I didn't want to say it.
Yep. I named my daughter Emery. You want to talk about brotherhood? I would not have a family if it weren't for you two. I would not be able to see it the way I see.
At first glance, it all feels like typical internet cringe. But once you look closer, Waller's ties to Tate lead into something way more unusual, especially when you realize he wasn't just a random supporter. He was part of a tight, behind-the-scenes network of men. Andrew Tate's War Room, his private network, wasn't cheap to get into, costing thousands of dollars just to join. The official pitch claimed it would level you up in every way possible, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. But behind that polished message, things started to look a lot darker. And right in the middle of it all was Justin Waller, positioned as one of the key figures inside this circle. By 2023, the War Room was under serious scrutiny after private group chats leaked online, exposing conversations that shocked a lot of people. The messages appeared to show Tate and his associates discussing ways to recruit women, isolate them, and push them into online work. And in the middle of those conversations, Justin Waller's name showed up too, actively participating. In one exchange, Waller openly praises Tate's approach, saying, "I love you. This is easy and feels like magic at the same time," reacting to the methods being discussed. Other messages reportedly show plans involving multiple people, including Justin Waller and others, talking about recruiting models into online content work. One name mentioned in the chat was Coconut Kitty, an online creator who later passed away in 2023, adding another layer of attention to the situation. What made this even more unsettling wasn't just the private messages, it's that similar ideas weren't being kept behind closed doors. Reports suggested that these strategies were being openly talked about and taught to young men attending War Room events.
No outside influences on you at any level. When I say she's yours, I mean she's basically with you, her family, your family. That's basically it. If she has like a really strong social circle and she really insists on seeing them, they're going to have a big influence over her. And it is in your best interest to get her away from that social circle. All these things tie into isolating her and taking her away from the outside influences.
one of these events, Justin Waller can be seen right there alongside Tate, not in the background but actively involved, presenting and reinforcing these controversial ideas in front of a live audience.
Kristen's framed it up. Yeah, so from main chick, side chick, all the way back down to the bottom. Attacking frame is actually really easy too, because secretly, even though they're all friends,
They hate each other anyway.
So one way that I isolate my girl to be only in my frame and not have her friends have influence is I attack her friend's frame. So we get in the truck and like, she doesn't respect it. Didn't she the one that said she wanted to go to Vegas on a girls trip? She doesn't respect it. Trash. Yeah, trash. And I'll just attack every one of her friends because every one of her friends' men, yeah, they are an example of what we're teaching not to be. So it's easy to penetrate it. And the next thing you know, my girl is coming to me almost as if she thinks I'm going to forget that I told her this, telling me like, I told her that she's most not respecting man. I did not know that. Good job. You know, I'm proud of you. And that's all she really wants. Yep. Is for me to be proud of her. So once those things are installed and you get to what Andrew's talking about, where she looks at you like a hero, all she wants to do is make you proud of her.
If you really look at the time when Andrew Tate and Justin Waller were blowing up online, there's one thing you can't ignore. Tate's online program, Hustlers University, now rebranded as The Real World. It was marketed as a fast track for young men to escape poverty and get rich, pushing things like dropshipping, crypto trading, and even reposting clips to promote Tate and the platform itself. But when digging deeper into 2023, while covering the rise of the Tates, there were clear signs that the marketing went way further than expected. Evidence suggested that their team was aggressively promoting Hustlers University and trying to pull in a much younger audience, including teenagers who were still in school.
Kids are getting kicked out of school because they're making money with Hustlers University. They join Hustlers University and make more money than their teacher, and their teacher's saying, well, I'm going to suspend you then. Why? Because you can retire your mother, because you can help your family, because you can buy a nice car? No, because when you have money, you don't listen to them.
Things shifted even more when Tate got banned from major social media platforms. Suddenly, the usual flood of Tate clips disappeared, and they needed new people to keep the machine running. That's when Justin Waller stepped in as one of the main faces pushing the message across platforms like TikTok. Waller started heavily promoting Hustlers University, also called The Real World, targeting younger viewers and speaking directly to students during live streams. In some of these clips, he's seen encouraging teens to skip traditional paths and consider joining the program instead, which sparked a lot of criticism online.
I'm 14, working on self-improvement and want to start making money. Any tips?
If you're gonna make money, I would consider joining The Real World. It's only $50 a month. You can cut a couple lawns and make that.
I'm 12 years old and I joined The Real World. Can you give me advice, please?
Yeah, bro. Go in there and listen to everything that Luke says. Go listen to all the professors and do exactly what they say and work your little ass off.
14 and in TRW. My parents think TRW is dumb and want me to have a social life. Do you have any tips?
I don't agree with your parents, only because what are you going to do? Go hang out with some 14-year-olds, probably do some shit you're not supposed to be doing. In the real world, you're going to learn how to make money. I don't think your parents probably understand what the real world is.
And it didn't stop there. Waller openly pushed back against the idea of college, reacting strongly to the thought of young people choosing education over the program, making his stance very clear in multiple appearances. These moments didn't just stay in one place either. Clips of Waller promoting the program spread fast, reposted again and again by affiliates, flooding platforms like TikTok and reaching massive audiences in a short time. The scale of this whole operation was huge, way bigger than most people realized. Once someone joined, it didn't just stop there. The upsells started rolling in, pushing members toward more expensive tiers and offers. And on top of that, there were all kinds of tactics being used to pull in new people, some of them raising serious eyebrows. One of the wildest examples was something called Planet Tea. Tate promoted it like it was the next big thing, describing it as an AI-powered world that would somehow make all of his followers rich. And right there, helping push the hype, was Justin Waller, backing the idea and helping spread it across their audience. But when the big launch day finally came in August 2023, things didn't go the way people expected. Planet Tea suddenly became inaccessible, and after all that buildup, it was quietly dropped. No real follow-up, no clear explanation. Both Tate and Waller just stopped bringing it up, leaving a lot of people confused about what actually happened. Even with all of that, Waller still looked like he was untouchable for a while, riding high as everything kept moving forward. But that momentum didn't last forever. Around that same time, more attention started turning toward the recruitment system behind the real world, and questions began stacking up fast. In 2023, efforts to bring awareness to these tactics started gaining traction. The attention of journalists, including reporting from Vice News.
You are completely right about censorship. About 6 weeks ago, I woke up and 3 channels that had plaques getting close to 1 million subs across all 3 channels was wiped away overnight. Vice News drops an article the same day telling the world that it was because they got in touch with YouTube and YouTube took me down. Since then, we've appealed. We haven't been able to get in touch with YouTube at all. They wanted to cut my message off along with...
Not long after, major platforms began stepping in. Apple and Google removed the Real World app from their stores, and YouTube started shutting down channels linked to promoting it. Among those taken down were channels connected to Justin Waller, including his main account, which had built up over 600,000 subscribers, marking a major shift in how these platforms responded to the situation. And just like that, Justin Waller basically vanished from the internet. The same guy who was everywhere suddenly wasn't being pushed anymore, and without Tate's affiliates constantly clipping and spreading his content across TikTok, his reach dropped hard. His audience didn't just shrink, it collapsed. And now, the once loud, controversial figure is mostly posting dull, low-effort motivational content over on Twitter. A lot of it even looks AI-generated, which just makes people ask, what is this supposed to be? But this story might not be over just yet. As of now, Waller is set to appear in a new Netflix documentary by Louis Theroux, Inside the Manosphere. That means he could be stepping back into the spotlight again, and if that happens, people are definitely going to be watching closely. I'll be covering that when it drops, no question, because Waller's rise and fall is tied directly to one of the most controversial figures the internet has ever seen. And when he had that spotlight, he used it to push people toward Andrew Tate's network, sparking serious backlash. For someone who talked a lot about personal responsibility, the outcome here speaks for itself. At the end of the day, where things ended up, that comes back to him. If you made it this far, make sure to hit subscribe and help me reach 1,000 subscribers. It seriously helps the channel grow. Drop a like if you found this interesting, and let me know in the comments what you think about this whole situation.